بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد، فعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: ألا إن الدنيا ملعونة ملعون ما فيها إلا ذكر الله تعالى وما والاه وعالما ومتعلما. رواه الترمذي. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, we're continuing with these prophetic principles for life. And as we mentioned, that there are 4 chapters and 4 sections in these 40 ahadith. Alhamdulillah, we completed the first 2 sections. The first section was related to the prophetic principles related to the self and how we should, view ourselves and what is the prophetic guidances in regards to the self, right? Secondly is the prophetic principles related to others, right? What are the rights and responsibilities and how we are to view and how we should conduct ourselves with the people that we interact. And now the third section is related to the life and the world around us. These are the 10 ahadith or 10 principles that are related to this world. Because in reality, how you perceive this world and what your perspective is on this world will also define your character in this world. It will define your relationship with others in this world. If you believe that it is only the life of this world, مَا هِيَ إِلَّا حَيَاتُنَا الدُّنْيَا نَمُوتُ وَنَحْيَا وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَبْعُوثِينَ. It is but the life of this world. We live, we die, and there's going to be no resurrection. If that is your purpose and that is your perspective of this world, then the way you treat people will be governed by that perspective. The way you live in this world will be governed by that perspective, because you only have one life. And that life is for what? That life is to enjoy yourself. That life is to live it to the fullest. That life is to make a lot of money, and that hedonistic perspective of just enjoy and just, fulfill all of your desires, do whatever you feel like, live like an animal, and just, that's it. This should be, this is the perspective. So when you have that perspective of dunya, you have that perspective of this life and the world around you, what will that do? That will affect your character. That will affect the way you treat people. That will affect your purpose. So with that being said, one ayah of the Quran, right? What is this world? As a Muslim, what do we believe is this world? This world in essence is ad-dunya mazra'atul akhirah. The life of this world is the planting ground for the hereafter. This is your farm. This is your field. You sow, right, in this world, and you reap that in the hereafter. As they say, you reap what you sow. You plant in this life, but it is in the next world that you reap the fruits of that. It is in the next life that you gain the benefits of that. Guys, I want you to be over here. You guys, be on this side. You guys cannot be behind that parda. Over here, stay there. Nobody should be behind the parda unless you're a female, right? So if you don't fall under that category, please come forward, sit close. So with that being said, this dunya is what? The planting ground for the hereafter, and the hereafter is that everlasting abode, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. And in reality, the next life is the everlasting true life if they only knew. So the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he mentions that أَلَا إِنَّ الدُّنْيَا مَلْعُونَةٌ مَلْعُونٌ مَا فِيهَا. This is a prophetic principle to know, that everything in this world is distant from the mercy of Allah. This world is distant from Allah's mercy, and also everything that is in it is distant from Allah's mercy. إِلَّا ذِكْرَ اللَّهِ except anything that is related to the remembrance of Allah. وَمَا وَالَاهُ, right? And that which takes somebody to the pleasure of Allah. And that which is any action which is in the pleasure and what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعَالِمٌ أَوْ مُتَعَلِّمٌ, or that scholar, the scholar who teaches guidance and the one who is learning guidance, these are the things that are exempted from being distant from the mercy of Allah. Now, everybody might think that this is a very harsh hadith, saying that this life, everything in it is distant from Allah's mercy. It is outside of Allah's mercy. Allah's mercy is not upon it. And everything in it is also outside of the mercy of Allah. So in order to understand this, let me give you an example. You are on a ship, and you're in the ocean, and you're headed to a destination. So the captain tells you, this water, you better stay away from this water. This water is danger. This water will kill you. This water is something that you want to avoid at all costs. You must stay on the ship, and you must focus on your destination. It's a correct statement. However, you need that water. And if the ship does not have the water, it is the water that gets the ship to its destination. But we understand that throwing yourself inside of that water, drowning yourself inside of that water, or that water coming inside of your ship, what is it going to do? It's going to destroy you, and it's going to drown you. Similarly, this ship is your deen. This ship is your purpose. This ship is Islam. Your destination is the akhirah, and the water is dunya. You understand these? This is the way of understanding this hadith. That why did Allah Ta'ala, why did the Prophet ﷺ use such harsh words for this life, for dunya? It's not just any dunya. That dunya which engrosses you, that dunya which drowns you, that dunya which comes inside of your ship, right? So the dunya, like in this analogy, in this parable, the dunya is the water. You need the water. We all need the dunya. Without dunya, our ship is not going to get to its destination. We have to be here. We have to live here. We have to flow here. But what aspect of dunya do we need to avoid? That aspect that is going to drown us. If you're going to go and jump inside of the water, the ship is going to sail. It's going to sail off, and you're going to drown there, and you're going to die. That is outside of Allah's mercy. That is outside of your destination. And this is that aspect of dunya that we have to watch out for, that we have to stay on the ship, first and foremost. Stay on your deen. And you have to be headed towards the destination. Where is your destination? The akhirah. And you have to keep the dunya, keep the water where it belongs, on the bottom of your ship. Keep this dunya under your feet. Keep this dunya as a guide. Keep this dunya as something that you sail on top of it, that takes you to its destination. Don't let it be something that goes inside of you. As Maulana Rumi rahmatullahi alayhi he says that the dunya is like that ocean. If it goes inside, right? Ab dar kishti halak kishti ast. Ab andar zere kishti pushti ast. He says the water of the ocean inside the ship is the drowning of the ship. When the water goes inside, and too much water goes inside, all of the people of the ship will drown. So he says, Ab dar kishti halake kishti ast. The ocean water going inside of the ship is the destruction of the ship. And then he says, Ab andar zere kishti pushti ast. And the water and the ocean that remains on top of or on the bottom of the ship, it will be a pushti. It will be a means to push it, right, towards its destination. So when we talk about dunya, keeping the dunya where it belongs, as a means of our sustenance in this life, as a means of our, right, providing for our family and our sustenance, and to pay the bills and to fulfill necessities. This is dunya. But for dunya, where you just literally jump inside of the ocean, jump ship, abandon your deen, jump ship, go inside of the ocean, drown yourself, and then what's going to happen, right? Then the ship is going to sail to its destination and you have drowned and destroyed yourself. And which aspect of then the dunya we should beware of? Again, Maulana Rumi explains this so beautifully. He says that cheez dunya az khuda ghafil budan. Cheez dunya az khuda ghafil budan. Ne qimasho nuqrawu farzandu zan. He says, what is dunya? Whatever makes you forgetful of Allah Ta'ala. And that is why in the hadith it says, everything in this world is cursed except the remembrance of Allah. Or anything that will take you towards the remembrance of Allah. So if he says, what is dunya? Cheez dunya az khuda ghafil budan. Dunya is anything that is ghafla, anything that is forgetfulness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ne qimashu nuqrawu farzandu zan. It's not clothes or money or children or wife or spouse. These things are not dunya. Dunya in reality is what? Anything that makes you forgetful. So if your store or your business does not make you forgetful of Allah. Allah Ta'ala said about the Sahaba, right? رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Sahaba were people that their business and their trade and their commerce, it did not take them away from the remembrance of Allah. So that was not something that was cursed. That was a benefit for them. That was a benefit for them. Only if your business, only if your dunya, only if your children, only if your spouse takes you away from the remembrance of Allah, then it is outside of the mercy of Allah. But if it takes you towards Allah, then it is something that you have to do. Marriage is one of the sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ because it completes half of a person's deen. What does it do? It protects you from indecent behavior and immorality and shamelessness. When it does that, then what is it? This is actually a means to Allah. When a person has a stable job and he is earning halal earnings, it's saving him from begging, and it's saving him from stealing and robbing and cheating and looting. Therefore, this is also the remembrance of Allah. Right? When a person has these things and it preserves them and protects their deen, then it is nothing but good. Because now what is it? That water is remaining on the bottom of the ship and it is taking your ship to its destination. Sa'id bin Musayyib rahimahullah said, he said, "Ad-dunya darul ghurur in alhatka an talab al-akhirah." He said, this world is cursed and this world is a deception only if it makes you unmindful of the hereafter. وَإِن دَعَتْكَ إِلَى طَلَبِ رِضْوَانِ اللَّهِ فَهِيَ نِعْمَ الْمَتَاعُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَسِيلَةِ. He says, if it takes you to the pleasure of Allah, like whatever you do in this life, if it's taking you to the pleasure of Allah, then it is the best ship that will get you to the destination. This dunya is actually your ship. So what we need to do is understand the good aspect of it. Take the good of it. Know how much to take from it and how much to watch out for. And if we understand this analogy, that the dunya is the ocean, and your deen is the ship, and your destination is the akhirah, you will stay on the ship, you will keep the water under you, and you will not let it go inside of you, and it will be ni'mal mata', it will be the best, right? The best of a means to get you to your destination. If we have this perspective, inshallah, the dunya will not be something that will destroy us, and will keep everything in proper perspective. If a person understands this, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want me to become drowned in this world. If I know that what my purpose is, my objective is akhirah, my ship is Islam, and the ocean is the water, I don't want to be inside the ocean. Because in the ocean, the sharks might eat me. In the ocean, I'm going to drown. In the ocean, I'm going to get hypothermia. I got to stay outside and be in the ship. Other than that, if that ocean stays under me, it will get me to my destination. So as long as we understand this, inshallah, right, we will be, the world will not be something that will be away from Allah Ta'ala's mercy, but the dunya will be a means where we'll be a planting ground for our akhirah. May Allah give us tawfiq to understand what has been said, and we have some